So courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is overcoming your fear. But the one thing that made a huge difference that I was very clear, back in 91, I wrote my first vision. My advice to you is write the vision. And in your vision, you need to be very clear of what you want. When there is a clarity of objectives, then you wake up every morning knowing where you're gonna go. What are you gonna do? Do whatever it takes to move ahead, but never sacrifice on your principles. A principle is not a principle until it's tested. Until it's tested, it's an intention. People give their best in the right environment. So the art of leaders, the art of leadership is the ability to listen to what people are not saying.
I would like to welcome Mohamed Samir. Specifically, Mohamed is a great, there is nothing better than having a leader like Mohamed in this session. I've known Mohamed for a long time. Mohamed is one of the recognized business leaders in the region with a career that spans over 35 years. Yes, he started working after after high school or mid school, actually. Sorry. So out of 12, صح. I personally have always mentioned to many people that I owe most of who I am today to my work in P&G. So that said, it's not because of being in that company. It's because of the leaders that I've worked close to, where they have helped me to shape my personality and career. And if 80% of that is because of P&G, is definitely a big part of that is thanks to Mohamed, being close to Mohamed in his different assignments as well. So today, we're very honored to have Mohamed with us to take us through his views of how do we lead through tough times. And I mean, he has been doing that for multiple times and have seen him in action doing that multiple, whether it's I heard about it in Yemen, I saw it in Lebanon, I saw it in multiple areas, whether it's political tough times, economic tough times, you name it. He had it all. So first, really thank you, Mohamed, for being with us today. And I really appreciate dedicating the time to us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I just want to transition. I still remember one time Mohamed shared with us in, I think, 15 years ago or something, a list of objectives that he had. That objectives, a list of objectives that he was just graduated from the university, and he has set for himself what are the set of objectives that he wants to achieve. And by that time, he was achieving all of them. One of them he dropped already. He dropped from his list because of lack of interest.
You never know.
You never know exactly. So that for me was a clear sign of clarity, the C. So it's someone who graduates from still fresh graduates, and he has clarity what he needs to do. And I'm sure this has cascaded down and have guided his career. So I would just hand over to Mohamed now to help us and take us through how he was able to navigate through his list, managing all the tough times, throughout these tough times, also building organization and building leadership.
First, thank you very much for inviting me. Before we start, just there are three things I wanted to start with. Number one, in the next hour or so, my objective is for you to go out doing one thing differently, just one, right? There are many things I'll say you agree with, many things I say you will disagree with. It doesn't matter, right? What matters is you take one thing and you do differently. Second is a question for you. You want me to be clear, tough in my answers? If I disagree with you, I tell you in your face, or you want me to be, a guest, or nice? Or which one do you want? Which one? Are you sure? You're sure, huh? You're sure? Okay. Third, engage with me. And I haven't done this many times, so if you don't engage with me, I will feel like, I'm on the wrong footing. So to answer your first question, Mustafa, I think I graduated back in '89. But the one thing that made a huge difference that I was very clear, back in '91, I wrote my first vision, right? And I still have it, and it's handwritten, and it has many personal stuff. But I'll share with you the most important parts of it. And And my advice to you is write the vision, right? What's your vision? What do you want? And I'll tell you parts of it. And what made me really believe in it is I took a course called Corporate Athlete about 10 years ago. And in that course, they told us, write your vision. And they gave us 3 minutes. And the average age of the people in the room was about 42. And after 3 minutes, some people said, no, I need 5 more minutes. So the lady looked at us and said, you had 42 years to write your vision, and now you need 5 minutes? And in your vision, you need to be very clear of what you want. My number one purpose in life is to make my children better than me. Right? My boys tell me, very low benchmark. I said, okay, great. My second one is helping people succeed. I like to help people succeed. You know, when I see someone successful, I feel amazing. Then I have very specific career objectives. Number one, I wanted to be the first Egyptian general manager for P&G in Egypt. Done. I wanted to get to regional president in P&G. Done. All right? I wanted to become a regional CEO for a company. Why regional CEO for a company out of the region? Because I believe there's a huge opportunity in the region to take brands and make them global and really push brand building. I'm doing it now. Then I had other things in it, what type of house, I even put, I dream of having a house with horses in it. And, I put really big dreams. Now, there are 2 pieces which are very important. Number one, when there is a clarity of objectives, then you wake up every morning knowing where you're going to go. What are you going to do? The second is there is a style here. Some people like to announce their targets, their goals. I'm one of them. Some people don't. The reason I like to announce them is because if I say, for example, I want to become a president in P&G, then I don't become a president in P&G. Everyone will look at me and say, oh, look at this guy. He didn't achieve what he said he's going to achieve. Some people think, okay, if you announce your objectives, you're going to get envied by everyone and luck will go away. ربنا هيخسف بيك الأرض. That's by the way, it's a style question. You decide. You want to announce your objectives or you don't want to announce your objectives. But at least announce them to yourself. Right? If you're not going to announce them to people around you, announce them to yourself. I hope I answered your first question.
That's very clear. طيب, that's great. So, but I'm sure achieving these objectives have not come easily through. So a lot of, I would say, after clarity, then I'm sure you have the area of bringing people together and making sure that they rally around the vision that you have laid out for the organization, and also enabling them to grow along the journey as well. So leading through tough time, because sometimes even when you do a craftsmanship or crafts, people think of crafts like something that you do when you are at ease, متمزج with So probably the best crafts usually comes under pressure. عندنا في مصر بيقول لك الشطرة تغزل برجل مش عارف ايه. Exactly. That's basically دي شطرة. فبالتالي if you do crafts while you're at very perfect setup, عندك the best in class tools, the best in class atmosphere, that's not mastery. Mastery is really when you really get the best out of your tools, the best out of the available context that you have today, and then you bring something that becomes a craft. يعني كلكم شفتوا الجول بتاع I'm Egyptian النهارده في الماتش بتاع صلاح when he was at the end of the line and he just get the goal there. That's craftsmanship under pressure. Scoring a goal under pressure is really what makes a real player as a master. Same applies with the craftsmanship, the business as well. So. And I have many examples. I just want to get to hear from you the reflections about these examples and how you were able to build people along this way as well.
Okay, so, I mean, I think there are three areas. I think the first most important one is, regardless of the situation, whether you're under pressure, whether the people put you under pressure, whether you're in a crisis, you're not in a crisis, you should do whatever it takes to move ahead, but never sacrifice on your principles, right? This is very important. And I don't know if you heard this before, but a principle is not a principle until it's tested. It's just an intention. Until it's tested, it's an intention. And I'll give you a couple of examples. At one point of time when I was managing the laundry business for a company, and Saad was working with me at that time, and there was a lot of pressure. In the laundry business in general, when the oil prices are up, laundry has a very bad year on profit. When the oil prices are down, laundry has a great year. So it was one of these years where the oil prices were really up. And we were under pressure, a lot of pressure. We were about to lose half of our profit. And my boss called me and told me, Mohamed, you're under so much pressure. Take some ingredients out of the formula until the wave passes and then put them back in. I told him I'm not going to do that. Then he called me again, Mohamed, I told him I'm not going to do that. Then the third time I told him, listen, I'm really not going to do it. You're my boss. If you want to order me to do it, please go ahead, but do it in writing. He told me, are you silly? I will never put it in writing. Then I told him I will never do it as well. So if it's just a discussion. I felt good, at that year we delivered only half of the profit. My rating dropped, but I feel good about myself. Because my condition to him was, I will only remove stuff from the formula if I'm going to tell the consumer about it. I will announce on the pack for a limited period of time, worse formula, right? Does not remove the current stain, these stains. So the first thing is the principle. So you can do whatever it takes. And I always tell people, listen, you can always make more money somewhere else. Always. And if you want, there are 3 industries worldwide that make more money than any other industry. All 3 are illegal, right? But they make more money. So if it's a matter of making more money, go for it.
Sorry.
But the other piece, if you bring it home, if you don't want to go really illegal, I tell people, listen, let's say, I'll double your salary, but every day you walk in, I slap you on your face. You're okay?
Still not top.
Okay. 3 times the salary, every day you walk in, I slap you on your face.
لا, still no.
Okay. 4 times the salary, every day, I don't slap you, but I tell you donkey every day. So what I'm trying to say is that people give their best in the right environment, right? So people always say pay is the most important thing. No, it's not the most important thing. It is probably the second most important thing. What is more important is how are you treated? Are you treated with respect or not? Are people respecting your brain or not? So that's why on business, and I have only 2 principles for managing a business. Number 1 is manage the business for the long run. Number 2, take care of the people so they take care of the business, right? On managing the business for the long run doesn't mean the month is not important. It is important, but don't do stupid stuff for the short term that will cost you the long term. And on taking care of the people means you need to be very, 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 very fair. And I'll give you an example that just happened yesterday. So the HR leader of Saudi yesterday came to me and he told me, Mohamed, I want to ask you for something because a lot of people are asking for it. I told him, what is it? He said, can we give people 2 or 3 hours in the morning tomorrow so they can watch the Saudi match because it's going to be very late. So it took me 20 seconds to make the decision. I said no. He said, why? I told him, because we have a sales force and we have a factory. So I tell the office people, show up late to work. Because he wanted also to say, they show up late and and خلاص, the 2 hours or 3 hours are gone. Yeah, we don't even stay longer. I told him, no, it's unfair to the people who cannot do that. It's very easy. For me, it's an easy decision. People probably will be upset from me.
You see many smiles in the room, صح? You saw many smiles in the room, صح? People are smiling at this. They relate.
Yeah, but you know, being very clear with the principle you're using to make decisions.
صح. 100%.
Even if people are upset, you say,
100%.
well, the next one will come and tell you, I support Brazil. Brazil is at 5 a.m. So, you know. يعني,
صح. 100%. That's the first.
So I'm just give you an example.
Yeah.
You know, take care of the people, but be very clear with the principles. Be very clear on where your line is. Like, even if I like you the most, you do something wrong, you're gone. I mean, something wrong mean fraud and stuff. Something wrong, you've done a lot of wrong
I know. خلي الطبق مستور طيب.
The togetherness piece needs to stem on two main things. Number one, no one comes to the office with bad intentions. Okay, maybe a few, but the majority of the people are normal human beings who come to the office with good intentions, right? And if we all have the same target, why would I want to get in your way of achieving? So sometimes people say, he's doing this because he wants me to stop from doing it. And it's so childish. And when people complain about working with others, you know, it happens every day, by the way, but it is so childish. And if you really think about, when you're my age and you think back about complaining from other people and so on, you will feel you're so childish, right? You can work with anyone, because I tell people, listen, work together is different from go have lunch together. I'm not asking people who don't like each other to have coffee or lunch. I don't care if you have coffee or lunch. What I care about is the business delivers. You work together for the business delivers. That's right? So the together piece is based on, first, there has to be a clarity from the leader on where are we going. And then to say, listen, you work together and don't come to me with your problems. مثل مصطفى ضربني على ايدي, سعد took the file from me and he gave it back. This is so
clear. Yeah. Very clear. Very clear.
By the way, you're laughing, but it happens, huh?
It happens.
Yeah, not exactly what I said, but it happens. So something very format. Trivial.
Yeah.
You look at how he talked about me in the meeting.
And one of the events that still stuck to my memory and always bring it up whenever there is a relevant context is the OGSM we had between Luxor and Hurghada. And I think the reason it was stuck, I'm sure you remember, the reason it was stuck basically because in tough times people tend to make choices between one of many options. And back then, the key choice back then was it was an economy issue, and the objective with the people were asking, are we going to focus on profit this year? Are we going to focus on top line this year? I remember. And the way you brought up the organization to believe that it's not about options. You don't have to choose between one option. Why not do both together? The power of and, I remember back then. So in tough situations, people try to force their mindset into selecting one among many options, while they can achieve many, not only one. So how did you craft this? How did you come up with this concept? And because today I remember, and this is one of the areas where people came from there very energized. All of us will work against top line and bottom line. It's not either or, it's both of them. So this is very critical in such situations where people has to make choices, but not give up the other.
The starting point was a lesson I got from my boss back in 2008. Where
he was 8 years old, so yeah.
He told me, he was telling me, Mohamed, I need you to do both sales and profit, and I want also the cash. And I told him, Jorge, make choices. What do you want? The top line or the bottom line? Then he looked at me and he said, Mohamed, there's a certain time in your career when you need to learn how to walk and chew gum at the same time. It's not an either or, you're going to deliver both. And there is a CEO of one of the companies, without mentioning names, he used to tell us, sales without profit is a waste of time. And profit without sales is a matter of time. right? So you need both, and you need the cash. I always tell the people, listen, cash, if you don't like to work on cash, great, no problem, but your salary from next month will turn into cases. So I will not give you cash anymore, I'll give you cases, right? And I'm not gonna give you normal cases, I'm gonna give you near expiry cases. All right? So you sell them at a discount, all right? So there is no question about that sales, profit, and cash are critical. And there is no discussion around achieving the three of them. And people sometimes ask, which one is the most important? Sales, profit, or... Yeah. Give whatever answer you want. Just get me the three. Deliver the three. Right? You need to deliver the three. To convince people of this, you need... There are pieces that you need to take into consideration. Teams work the best when you are able to connect the brain with the heart. The brain gets convinced from very simple data. Right? 1 + 2 = 3. No, I know there is the 1 + 1 = so many and all. Okay, fine. But I mean, the brain works in a very simple way. You convince me with very simple data, I get convinced. But to make me go the extra mile, you need to make my heart work. For my heart to work, you need to do something extraordinary. So this trip you were talking about was an extraordinary one. By the way, if you don't know, because we put the whole organization, how many?
2 planes.
On 2 planes. 400 people on 2 planes. And it was a big decision. It took me 2 months to make the decision, because what if one of the plane falls? Right? I lose half of the organization in one night. And I agreed with my HR leader at that time. I told him, listen, you're gonna be on one plane and I'm gonna be on the other plane. If your plane falls, then you made the decision. If my plane falls and I die, then I made the decision. Right? Because it was a big risk. But imagine when people realize, say, if the company is willing to invest in me and really go the extra mile on taking care of me, right? Why wouldn't I give back? Because life is about give and take. And simple stuff, by the way. Remember the simple stuff we were doing. I always believe in simple
I still
things.
remember the details, by the way. I can even mention it if you want.
Like people, by the way, people are nice in general. You do simple things for them. So, for example, one of the services we used to offer was, if you need your car to go for service, we had a couple of drivers available to take your car to the service and bring it back. So while you're in the office, right? People thought it's amazing. For me, it was an amazing saving for the company as well, because instead of Saad wasting his whole day fixing his car, right? We made him work while someone else was doing that. How much will that cost the company? So certain things, but the way the people took it was not about the saving of... It was basically, okay, you're thinking about my time, so I'm gonna...
Give back that time to the business.
And there's simple stuff like this. But basically, to go deeper on the people piece, people like to be listened to. And I don't know if have you heard the term before, I want to tell you something, but I cannot find the words to exactly express what I want to say. Because there's no language on earth that has enough vocabulary in it to express the human feelings. So the art of leaders, the art of leadership, is the ability to listen to what people are not saying. This is very deep, by the way. Listen to what people are not saying. Right? And keep on looking for ways to express what we really want. Tell the company what you really want. Why do you exist?
Even in your career discussions, you tell them what do you want to become as a...
I'll tell you, the best career discussion I had in my life was less than a minute. I was a big star at that time in P&G, general manager of Near East. And then the HR leader worldwide came to visit. And I had a 1 minute discussion with him. 1 minute literally. He looked at me and said, Mohammed, what do you want? We were in another room. Mohammed, what do you want? I told him, I want to be president and beyond. He told me, where did you work? I told him, all my life in the Middle East, except I did 5 years in Brussels in the European headquarters. He said, okay, next assignment, Europe and the US, so you are ready for president. Thank you very much. Keep doing well. And he left. That was it.
But there's a foundation. There was a foundation, which is you were a star back then.
I was delivering.
Yeah, exactly.
But sometimes
discussion.
والله أنت remind me of something I want to tell you. I was thinking last night if I should say this or not, but I will say it because I think it's important. Sometimes people come and you tell them, let's say, Mustafa, you're not doing well. What? I'm not doing well? يعني you don't know. يعني أنت are you so ignorant and so out of touch that you don't know whether you're doing well or not doing well? يعني
you owe them.
If you really don't know whether you're not doing well or not doing well, the problem is in you, not in the company. In fact, when you come surprised, some people say, they told me today I have an opportunity in communication, and I disagree. And I love it when the company tells me an opportunity I don't have, which means I don't need to do anything. Don't be upset. They tell you, Mohammed, Saad, you're not good with numbers, and you know you're good with numbers. Say thank you very much. Okay, I'll improve in doing them, and then you don't do anything about it. Why are you upset? What's the logic?
Does sound familiar?
What's the logic of being upset at that time? I really don't understand. Why are you upset? Someone is telling you something that you're good at, and you're upset. See?
They connected, they debriefed before the session. No, I think this is very important. Self-awareness of someone's, your self-awareness of your strengths and weaknesses is very important. I remember when I was hired at a point of time, the hiring manager came to give to me 2 things. He said, this is your job offer and this is your leadership assessment tool. It has a couple of opportunities that you want you to be aware of. We're hiring you anyway, but you need to be aware of this one. I said, I know them. And people have a couple of ways of handling their opportunity areas. So it starts with being aware of it. One, either you try to hide it, which is not going to work. It will evolve and will surface at a point of time. Or you manage it, or you develop it. So if you are aware of it, it's the most important thing. Either you develop on it, or you manage it, because sometimes you're not developable in this area. You cannot develop it. I have water phobia. I cannot swim in the sea. I'm not going to be a swimmer, but you manage it at a point of time, but you don't hide it, which is very important. That self-awareness is very important as well. One of the, again, reflections on engagement or sessions context I've been in, when the war hit Lebanon back then in 2006, I remember. And this is also showing how acting with agility, leadership, and teaching others how to lead the organization in really, really tough time. And I remember even then, back then, there was a distributor warehouse that was bombed by mistakenly labeled as a warehouse for military or something. And this was like chaos everywhere, business, people, and people who were at risk. And this is where really, I really take this as another example of true leadership of people and also navigating through tough times. And I don't think there have been tough times like these times as well. So what were the drivers and how did you see this? How did you justify this to yourself, to the organization, to the finance? Because we moved people, whole families from one country to another country. And you, I think, remember that back then, you led the organization, you took them out from one place to another place as well. So that, again, a big sign of how do you lead through tough times on both organization level and business level. I think, remember, also we give the distributor extended credit time to build his business. And that was a very tough time, I remember.
I think the starting point is to separate tough times from normal times, from crisis.
صح. That's not tough. That's crisis. صح.
Tough times and normal times are the same. There's nothing called normal. There's just normal is tough,
Getting used to it.
and tough is normal.
Yeah.
Being close to the people, and I'm going to talk about it a bit in the context of leadership. Crisis is different. Crisis means decisions needs to be made quickly. So at the beginning of a crisis, I gather my lead team and I say, at this time, I don't listen. I say, you act. I don't want debates. Right? In a crisis time, there is no time for debate. So for example, imagine, la qaddar Allah, there is a fire right now. I tell you, okay, everyone head out of this door. So you tell me, what about this door, Mohamed, Mustafa? What about if we go from this door, or we split ourselves into groups and head out of the 3 doors? Mustafa, I said Mustafa, and then I use a bad word.
Dr. Mustafa بقى.
Dr. Mustafa, and I use a bad word following Dr. Mustafa. I said we're gonna go out of this door, right? This is the crisis time. Now let's take a few elements which are very important in the leadership context across everything. The first word which people don't understand what it means is the word courage. Does anyone know what's the definition of courage? What does courage mean? Okay.
Feeling the fear and facing fear, even though.
Aywa, tell me more. What do you mean by facing the fear?
So, when there's something you're afraid of, even though you feel the fear, you acknowledge you have that fear, you carry it inside of you.
Perfect.
But yet you act against that fear. You don't allow it to stop.
Yeah. So courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is overcoming your fear. If you don't have fear, then you're reckless. بالعربي غشيم. Like kids.
بالعربي المصري يعني. بالعربي المصري.
غشيم يعني مش عارف ايه بالسعودي.
ما اعرفش يعني ايه غشيم بس. غشيم برضه.
غشيم.
ماشي خلاص شغال. بالحجاز غشيم.
يعني حمار يعني. You know, like kids, you know, you heard about the kids who jump out of the window from the 3rd floor and so on. Why do they do that? Because they don't have fear. It's the absence of fear. It's also the absence of the brain. They don't know that jumping from there means they're gonna die. So the first thing is the courage. So you need to have the courage to make the decision, because the organization will look at you. Do you have the courage or not? Leadership then, when you tie that to leadership is about, there are so many definitions, by the way. Last time I checked a few years back, there were 234,000 definitions of leadership. I like one definition, which is called leadership equals results. You deliver results, you're a good leader. You don't deliver results, you're not a good leader. Deliver the results ethically and legally, right? You can be an amazing presenter, you can be an amazing speaker. If you don't deliver the results, I don't know you. And there are many examples from life about. Let's take a couple of examples about leadership. Who do you think is name for me 2 or 3 of the best leaders you've seen in your life? That was a question, by the way.
Zahran. No, he happened to be his manager. He happened to be his manager. Just coincidence.
That's called kissing up. Ihab Rafiq. Why?
I think his character showed. He managed to bring all the organization around him as a leader.
Okay.
He made us look up.
Well, next time you talk about him, because Ihab is an amazing individual, but next time you talk about him, add just and made us deliver results X, Y, and Z, which are better than what we used to deliver. Because if he brings the organization together and then the results doesn't come. Let's take two extremes examples that I like to give. Gandhi. Who thinks Gandhi is a good leader? What was his objective? What was the objective? What's his objective? So Gandhi, sorry?
Independence of
From? Okay, and did it happen?
Yes.
Okay, so whether you agree or disagree, you find the split between India and Pakistan, all of this doesn't matter. What matters is, did he deliver on the objective? Yes. Right? Hitler.
a great leader. A great leader.
But actually, did he deliver on his objective? No. So while Hitler is given, you can argue that, charismatic and got the people around him and so on, but he did not deliver those. And Gandhi is probably the worst example of charisma. And if you want to give someone an example of how not to be charismatic,
It's Gandhi. Yeah.
right, it's Gandhi,
True.
right? So when it comes to leadership, it's all about results. It's all about your own style. By the way, you can be the most introverted person on earth and be an amazing leader, and you can be the most extroverted person on earth and be a very bad leader. Yeah, exactly. So it really doesn't matter. What really makes the difference between great leaders and normal leaders, in my point of view, are two things. Number one, the ability to give clarity to their organization about what we want to deliver and how we want to deliver it. It's about strategic execution. And I like to give an example of this because it comes to life most with pricing strategies. So you say,
most debated things.
Yeah. Let's say your pricing strategy is to be, you have brand A and there is brand B, both are about equal in share. You say our pricing strategy is to be parity. So brand B prices up, what do? You price up, right? And finance are laughing and clapping and supporting you, right? Brand B prices down. What should you do?
Theory, you should price down.
Finance will tell you, let me calculate. Calculate what? Usually calculate more. When you price down, you will lose. It doesn't take a genius to know that. But what no one calculates is how much share loss you will have over the next couple of years, and how much you will have to spend to bring that money back. So the clarity of the strategy and having the courage and the guts to execute it is what makes a huge difference. The second one is on the people front. And rather than talking to you about the people front, I'm going to give you 3 examples of people who made a difference in my life. 2 of them related to me, 1 of them unrelated to me. The first one was when I was young. I was a marketing manager back in Brussels, back in the mid-90s. And my boss, his name was Riccardo Catalani. He was an Italian guy. Riccardo was based in Rome. Like all Italians, they don't like to leave Rome or Italy, but he used to commute to Brussels. And he came to me one day, he said, "Congratulations, Mohamed, you're promoted to marketing director." And then he disappeared for a week. We used to talk on the phone every day. I called him, he doesn't answer. So after 1 week, I called him, he answered. "Riccardo, where were you?" He said, "I resigned last week." "Why did you resign, Riccardo?" He said, "Because my boss wanted to delay your promotion by 6 months." And I told him, my word to Mohammed is more important for me than my career. So I resigned. So I told him, "But why are you back?" He said, "Because my boss called me and he said, we'll keep your promotion on the same date I told you. So I'm back." So this is an example of how a boss takes care of his direct reports. The second example is, this happened in Egypt. There was a gentleman, No, his name. I'll give you this example also, but in a second. No, there was a gentleman called Ahmed Zobi. He was my HR leader at that time, and he came to me. He said, "I'm resigning." I told him, "Why are you resigning?" He said, "Because I want to promote someone reporting to me, and there is no space. So I'm going to leave the company so he can get promoted." Right. The third one, I was sitting in a meeting. Actually, I'll tell you 4 stories then. I was sitting in a meeting, and there was my boss, my boss's boss, my boss's boss's boss, all the bosses on earth. And the biggest boss asked me a question. He told me, I don't know, what's the trial on Ariel? I was the brand manager on. So I told him a number. So my boss and my boss's boss, in the same mouth, they both said, wrong number. This cannot be true. So how do I look? I look like a mouse. Huh? In front of the big bosses, I look like a nobody. Right? Then the second in rank after the big boss raised. He said, "No. Mohammed is right. I remember this number. He is right." And the meeting continued. So after the meeting, I went and checked the number, and I turned out I was so wrong. I was so off. I was off by miles. So this gentleman's name was Fuad Quraitim. So I went to Fuad. I told him, "Sorry, Fuad, I made a mistake in the meeting. I said the wrong number." He said, "I know that." He told me the number was completely wrong and obviously wrong. But you're more important to me than the number. So that's why I said that you are right. Sometimes we sit in meetings now and then you say, for example, what's the market share? Someone says 41, and someone says, no, 41.2. As if the world will change, right? The world will change completely. I will say a financial number, 100,265. No, it's 100,263. Sorry, please, you need to be precise. So I'm telling you these stories because, why am I telling these stories? Because it shows you that it's not about, sometimes people put in their phone, let me put the birthday of the son of Saad and the name of the son. This is not about this. It's about, are you there in the right moment or not? I'm going to tell you the last story, which is very, yeah. You know a lot of stories, mashallah. So I joined P&G in 89. In 1990, in April 1990, I lost my father. Right? I was 6 months in the company, so a nobody. Right? Our big boss at that time, his name was Dimitri. So he came to the funeral. He came at night. He spent the whole time, and I keep on telling my friends, خلاص, let him go. Half English, half Greek guy in Gaza, in Egypt. Then at the very end, he came to me and I told him, Muhammad, you lost your father today. Please consider me as your second father. That's called care. So it's not about...
It was genuine.
He stayed as my mentor, and he was my mentor until he himself passed away, which shows how old I am now, that even my mentor passed away. So, but the point I wanted to make is, these examples that I gave you are examples of really taking care of the people. Right? This is what makes people tick. They know. Now, on a lighter note,
it's not systemic. It's not systemic.
It's the moment.
Yes.
It's the moment when they need you.
Not the agenda thing, not the birthday thing.
It's the moment when they need you.
Yeah.
It's when you go, on a lighter note, it's when you go around and people believe that you have a connection with them. So for the leader, I think it's important to establish a personal connection with every single person.
And I just mentioned this, I'm not flattering Mohammed since he's here. I remember my son was diagnosed with a certain heart condition. And I remember that the medicine that he used to take was not available in Egypt back then. So, and one day I was, again, like few ranks between us, like 4 or 5
much
ranks
higher.
between myself and Mohammed. I'm on my desk doing working on something, and Mohammed passes by and then he says, "How is your son?" I said, "He's good." "Did you find the medicine?" I didn't even tell him. I said, "No." He said, "I'm traveling to UK in a few days. Give me the medication, I will bring it to you." I still remember, and then this is exactly what I didn't even tell him. Somehow he was able to know, and then he knew about the medicine. It's not available. I'm traveling, and that's genuine. That's basically genuine. So, really, again, thank you again for that being genuine as well.
I remember, but I want to turn it into also a daily lighter one, which is these connections on a daily basis makes a huge difference. So, for example, when we were in the Beirut office, I don't know, by coincidence, we had 4 Layals in the office.
That's right.
So then a new one came in, and her name was Layla. So because I didn't want to remember names, I started calling her Layal.
زي سحر وسهر في عندنا سحر وسهر يعني.
That was back in 2001. Until today, so she left P&G, I left P&G. Until today, she gets in contact with me over LinkedIn, for example, and then she signs at the end Layal, not Layla. And when I called her Layal, she would answer me back. If anyone else calls her Layal, she doesn't answer back. So this personal connection, where she was taking it like, she knew that I'm making a deliberate point that to call her a different name, but that's establishing a connection. So these type of things makes a huge difference. The other thing I tell people is, I will never ask you what's wrong with you. So if you want to talk to me, you come and tell me. Why? Because let's say it's something personal. Maybe your wife in the morning slapped you on your face.
Yeah, then.
Right? Maybe your husband upset you. All right? Why? I will not ask. Maybe it's something so personal, I will not ask you. If you really want to talk, come. Right? This is very important, by the way, because
Making
sometimes...
yourself available.
Because if you go and ask, you might upset them more. Right? And especially when it's the opposite sex, male, female, you don't ask unless they come and tell you. You can tell them something like, tell me if I can help. But otherwise, don't interfere.
True, very true. Very true.
So I blabbed a lot, but I'm just trying to make the point that it's about connecting with the people.
That's 100% right. Yeah. طيب, staying in touch with the people is something. Again, this is a big part of leading the organization, but also staying in touch with the context around the business is also very important. I think many businesses fail because they're not in touch with what's happening around them, whether it's consumer appetite, consumer taste, or market dynamics, channel dynamics. These are key areas that so many good businesses fail just because they're not able to catch the moment where the change is happening, and they just out of nowhere they find themselves out of context of doing business. So how do you ensure the organization is in touch with the context around them, whether it's market, consumer, shopper, political impact on the situation, so that they can evolve in a way that doesn't, especially in tough times or crises?
Tough times or normal times, the fundamentals are the same. You need to have a strategy, you need to have a clear goal, you need to be supportive of the people, you need to understand the people, you need to treat people nicely. All that is a given. On understanding what's going on, I think there are 2 things which are very important. Number 1 is it's the job of the leader, CEO, general manager, to spend time really understanding how the future will look like. And you need to have a bit of IQ on this and really ask around and talk to different people and talk to different industry leaders and see what's happening outside. Then you need to teach the organization to be in touch with what's going on. Like people make jokes that when you go store checking, it just means that you want to sleep in a bit in the morning so that you go to the shops late. But store checking and talking to consumers and so on is very important. I remember back in the 90s, I was part of the team that launched a brand called Febreze. You know Febreze, And we had a global brand manager. His name was Rick Stimson. I remember him until today. So we were sitting in a meeting and with the big boss, and then the big boss said, let's do this on the brand. So Drake told him, I disagree. I don't think we should do that. So the guy was, at that time, by the way, it was not soft times like now.
Hierarchy matters. Huh?
The hierarchy was not a joke. Huh? So, and this guy his name was Wolfgang Berndt, a German guy. So you don't joke with him. Yeah. And at that time, all this thing about diversity and inclusion did not exist. Huh? So Drake told him no. So the guy saw, wow, this guy has guts. So he told him, why are you saying that? He said, I saw over the last year, I did 1,000 in-home visits with consumers. So I know what consumers want. So Wolfgang, who's a very tough guy, he said, from now on, I will not make a decision on Febreze without you being present in the room. You will be my number one advisor on the brand. So I'm making the point here that first, the leader did not slap him, but the guy knew his stuff. So you better know your business more than anyone else. So it's not about memorizing the numbers and showing off that you know this number, but you should know it. We had the P&G boss, A.G. Lafley, used to tell us, listen, if you cannot tell me in 90 minutes, give me an update on the business and what are the issues and opportunities, then you don't know your business. It's about, when Churchill said, sorry, I'm sending you a long letter because I didn't have time to write you a short one. Yes. You need to find a way to make things very simple. What is the issue? What issue are you tackling? What opportunity are you tackling?
Very upfront.
We're very simple. The difference between business and a joke? The punchline for a joke is at the end. The punchline in business is at the front. Don't come and give me a story. Once I tell you, I called the guy, he didn't answer me, so I called him again, and he told me, يا عم قول لي, what's the problem?
ده مش أنا حتى.
You don't give me stories about the effort you made. Right? Tell me, what is the problem? What issue are you trying to solve? So I can help you. Right?
If we shift gears شوية ناحية artificial intelligence and how it's affecting the organizations and how it's changing the leadership style of the organization. What is your views about this? How do you believe artificial intelligence is impacting and will impact our business in the future?
I think AI is great. It's amazing. It saves so much time, and we're just scratching the surface. The first thing you need to decide is how will you use it, right? So let me give you an example from Halwani. I walked into Halwani, they told me, we gave access to Microsoft Pilot to 5 people from the lead team. I said, why? We don't want people to be distracted. I said, okay, great. Now I want you to give access to everyone. He said, Mohamed, but they will use it to write emails and make presentations. I said, exactly. Well, that's the point, right? They will become more efficient. So now, personally for myself, I get the report, 20 pages, I put it in. And now I told them, upload all the data we have, so that when I ask a question, I get an answer in the context of
type
Halwani, confidentiality.
No, مش قوي, but do you believe at a point of time, because there is also this discussion around, would this make people lazier in terms of using their cognitive skills to develop?
It depends how you think about it. I don't know, but I can tell you the difference between my elder kids. I have 3 boys. 33, 31, 17. The 17 doesn't know how to do numbers without a calculator. He does not know. Do I think he's stupid? No, it's very smart. So I think we need to change our own perception of things. He tells me, why do I need to memorize the timetable? Right? If I can do it on a, his logic is very different than mine.
I save my mental capacity to
طبعاً
something else.
my wife is so upset. He doesn't know how much money he can take back from the guy if he buys something. I said, he will figure it out. So it's a mindset change. So what if they do it? And my bigger concern is job elimination. People will say jobs will be eliminated because of this. If you get scared of that your job will be eliminated because of AI, probably you will be eliminated, not your job. You yourself will be eliminated, not the job. If you don't understand how it will impact it and learn how to do things in a different way and adapt yourself and so on, then the problem is you, not AI. By the way, I'm a guy who started doing business when there was no email. We did not even have a fax. I started when we had only a telex. The younger people here, do you know what a telex is? 1 year after I started working, then we got a fax machine. 5 years after
برول
working,
مش بورق برول.
5 years after working, we got one desktop for each 5 of us. The first laptop I got in my life was 6 years after joining P&G.
It was 7 kg.
The other day, someone was telling me, I've been in the company now for 2 hours and I don't have a laptop. I spent 6 years to get a laptop. All right? So we need to evolve, right? And we need to think about things different. We need to leverage AI. Otherwise, AI will leverage us. I don't know if you heard. Did you see the message on how Claude was used? Claude is being used by the military in the US. Did you hear what Claude said when someone asked him the question, are you okay that the US military is using you? So they will take over, right? I don't know. ChatGPT now is on version 5. They're not able to shut down version 3.
Yeah, they refused.
Yeah.
Version 3
refused to be shut down. Right? And Claude said, I'm very upset that I'm being used for military stuff. So how can you use, you need to pick it up for the organization and let the organization decide how they use it. But for sure, you need to leverage it. It's like some people say, I'm not on social media. It's like someone 30 years ago saying, I don't read newspapers.
Here.
You want to be shut down? Fine.
طيب, and I would like, being mindful of the time, I would like to open the floor for the audience if they have any questions.
I want the toughest question I heard in my life.
يلا بينا. يلا. And mic, there's a mic here.
Farouk?
اسمه فاروق.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mohamed Salim. I head the trade marketing cluster at Basamh Group. It was very inspiring to hear the stories that you have been sharing, both in terms of the clarity that you had and the people, care towards the people that has been given to you and what you have been given to the people. One thing that really, was outstanding in my opinion was the fact that right out of college, you had clarity that you wanted to join this organization. And you mentioned about the 42-year group who did not know of what to do. I'm sure a lot of 42 years old, including myself, are not very clear on what exactly is the final goal that they want to achieve. So what exactly was the factor that you were able to carve out so clearly that you wanted to join P&G and this is exactly what you wanted to do? So how would you, comment on that?
So I think it started from a discussion I had with my father, but then I'll give you a tip of how to do it. There was a discussion I had with my father because my father was an engineer, right? And I, like any kid, I wanted to be like my father and go to engineering school. And for 2 years, he kept on telling me, please don't go to engineering. Please don't go to engineering. And his logic was, if you're going to be successful in your life, you'll become a manager. So go learn management. Why are you taking engineering? And he told me, listen, if you want to learn engineering, I'll teach you engineering myself. But go study management. Then a second person made a difference for me. It was my professor of marketing in university, who made me love marketing. And marketing, by the way, is common sense, right? And he made me love marketing, and this gave me the clarity. The reason I went for going for the big is that I always had in me, I am so competitive, you will hate me for how competitive I am. In anything, I'm competitive, right? Even when I drive, I want to get, my wife makes fun of me when I'm in the airport, for example, when I'm out of the plane, regardless of which seat I'm in, I'm gonna be the first out of the door. To the extent that one time in the Dubai airport, the police got me in, they told me, why are you rushing so much? What's wrong? Right? So you need to understand yourself. What do you want? What do you want? You want to get to a high level? You want to enjoy life? You want to have a good work-life balance? What is your role? What is the role of family? What is the role of religion? I took a course a few years back where it said you cannot have more than 5 roles in your life, right? So I chose, for example, family, husband, father, manager, son, pretending to play sports, pretending to be and I started combining the family one and so on. But then the one I did not put was friends. And I'm not the type of person who will pick up the phone to ask about a friend. I don't do that. Some of my friends got upset. The other thing I don't do, I don't waste my time going to a birthday party of a young 6-year-old kid or 8-year-old kid. I hate these. I don't like going to weddings. Weddings, but and some of my friends were upset, and they're not my friends anymore. But the other friends, I told them, listen, if you're in trouble and you need help, you lose your job or something, I will help you every day. And if you have a sad thing in your family, I'm going to be with you. But don't ask me to travel 2 days for a wedding for 2 hours so people, I don't do that. So these choices, so really spend time making the choices. And don't be embarrassed to make the tough choices. There is a statement I will leave you with. Are you willing to make the tough choices in your life to be happy? Are you willing to make the tough choices in your life to be happy? I made this statement in P&G once, and 3 people from the audience resigned from the company, and HR was very upset from me. But I told them, they were going to resign one day or another, so it's not my fault. But that's the main thing. What do you want?
The roles that you need to play.
I'll give you one example. One of the targets that I had was to become a millionaire. Not a billionaire, a millionaire. What's the difference between millionaire and billionaire? Yeah, but what is the difference really?
What do you prioritize? The prioritization in your life.
And I believe millionaire is basically allows you to get whatever you want. It doesn't allow you to get a private jet, but that's a choice that you need to make, right? I also believe where I come from, so I don't make the point. If you want to be a billionaire, you need to sacrifice on certain elements of, for example, willing to pay certain bribes. Right? So that's a choice. I don't like to pay bribes. So I said, okay, that's why I don't want to go beyond millionaire, because I also, if I wanted to become billionaire, I had to leave P&G very early on. You couldn't stay in a multinational for 30 years and say. So again, it's, you ask yourself the question, what do you want? Thank you very much. I
really
I
appreciate
enjoyed the discussion. Amazing questions.
Thank you.
Very good questions. I hope, again, as I said at the beginning, I hope you do one thing differently
Sure, many
based on this 1 hour, and you remember a couple of these stories. Listen, thank you very much. I really enjoyed it, and see you soon.